Clark and Moynihan said that, God, 60 years ago, when nobody does anything. And your women are the first one to stomp on you about advancement. Those who want to boost marriage rates among blacks should focus on improving job opportunities and education for black men. Well, how come all the scholarships and opportunities and programs are for black women? Why is that? If this is the case, and this has been proven over and over again, they're not doing anything except reiterating the same thing that Moynihan, Clark, and Kerner Commission said 60 years ago. Nothing. There's nothing's changed. The majority of black women express some support for this viewpoint. 3/5, 61% of black women expect that black marriages would increase a lot or increase a little if more black men were employed. Get this. Here we go. And this has been something that's been going on since freaking Du Bois did it in 1890 when he did the Philadelphia Negro. He found the exact same thing. Nothing has changed. Interestingly, married black women are more likely to see black men's employment as a factor influencing marriage rates. While the majority of both married and never married black women think an increase in black men's employment would contribute to an increase in marriage rates, married black women are more likely to hold this view. Black women believe increasing black men's employment rate helps black women and girls. 80%. 80%, folks. Black men's declining employment rates is part of a broad trend of declining employment for men without college degrees. Part of it. These men have been hurt by U.S. trade policies that have contributed to the decline in manufacturing jobs in the U.S. Black men are more likely to lack college degrees than white men, so relatively more black men have been affected by this decline. Employment in manufacturing sector is disproportionately male, and black men even more so than white men relied on these jobs. Very true. But here's the kicker, and note this. Black men have the highest unemployment rates at all education levels. You can see it's obvious. It's doubled everybody else who have less in high school. Latinos actually fare better very well with less in high school. In fact, Latinos' rates are pretty similar no matter what the educational level is as far as employment. There's probably a whole bunch of factors for that, right? Well, this is something interesting. Notice this. For a bachelor's degree, unemployment rate is 3.2% for black men, right? Which is higher than a white man and a Latino with a high school. If you look at it, just look at the Latinos. A black man with a bachelor's degree is virtually the same as a Latino with less than high school, as a high school dropout. High school dropouts for Latinos and whites are in the same ballpark as a black man with a bachelor's degree. It's called racism. And just for a black man to have a shot at employment, he's going to need to have education. And guess what black boys don't get? You guessed it. That's why this shit is so high. And this too. Now, so if one wants to help black boys by helping black women is essential by nearly all black boys are being raised solely by or in partnership with black women. But it's also important to recognize that helping black men and boys will have positive effects on black women and girls. This is simply because black men and boys are part of black families, neighborhoods, and communities. If black men and boys are doing poorly, then black families and neighborhoods and communities are also going to be doing poorly. Can't say any better than that. There's independent. I don't need no man. I can do it by myself. Negroes ain't ish. It's not going to work. It hasn't worked in 60 years. It has not worked in 60 years. It hasn't. Oh, here's one that I missed. Okay. Most people in prison are eventually released. As a result of mass incarceration, there are many black men who are formerly incarcerated. These men encounter employment discrimination for both being black and for having a criminal record. Research shows that black men with a criminal record are treated worse by employers than a white man with a criminal record. Look at that. Discrimination continues to limit black men's employment opportunities. For all you right wingers, can you spell racism? Can you spell racism? In other words, and this is something that they said, poverty in the black community means that it directly is parallel to the number of black men working. You cannot have millions and millions, several million black men not working or underemployed and have a thriving black community. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So this is something that's not going to go away. Let's go say this is something that's not going to go away. You can't get past the fundamentals. Moynihan, Clark, and all the other brain trusts that tried to look at this about improving the black condition said as much. And then black men allowed white women to take most of the pie of affirmative action without putting up a fight because they were actually going to get a slice and pass off the crumbs to black men, tell them you have to make that do. You have to go pull yourself up by your bootstraps without any boots in a highly competitive environment like the United States, where the slightest advantage is going to be taken advantage of, it's going to boost people up. And as long as black girls were able to get funding and a shortstop and their safety net, they're perfectly willing to either throw the black men under the bus and leave them behind, and then on the back end throw them some crumbs. Your homeless population, you throw your son, your brothers, your father, the old men in the street, throw them some crumbs. You push your black boys through schooling without a proper education, knowing full well what he's going to face as a black child out there in the workforce. You don't care. And the COVID has proven that a lot of black mothers do not care about their children. The national average of black boys that can read at grade level is 10%. And that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Is there any outcry on college campuses? Is BLM and black feminists that believe in equity and equality saying anything about it? They actually think that it's good because that means they're ahead of black men. 70% of your college campuses between black males and black females is black female. There is no equity. And then they cry about not having their equal. Really what they're crying to is white men to take them. They want white men to feel sorry for them. Look, the men that you gave us aren't up to snuff. Look, we're running circles around the black men that's supposed to be ours, right? The only equivalent to us is you. So you got to marry us, Mr. White Man. We're already having babies for you. 50% of black babies are not sired by black men. You have more black women having out-of-wedlock babies for white men than marriages. Just white men alone. White men alone have like 400,000 babies with black women. 400,000. I do believe I got to check the figures. Now, don't quote me on this. I got to check the figures. I think the marriages of all sectors of all sectors of black people, all generations of black people, I think is like 120,000 white men that are married to black women. It might be less than that. It may be less than that. I think it's no more than 150,000. But you got 400,000 babies, which that's about the same ratio that you get for black people, okay? Because there's only 27% of black women that are actually married. But anyway, man, I think this has gone on long enough. So I just wanted to put this in the record. I know Dr. J is probably going to do a whole stream on this so he can go into greater detail than I did. I just want to get my thoughts out on this and put this into the record. So without further ado, this is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.